Greetings and salutations to all you folks out there. Today I am doing something that I've not done in quite a while, and that is cast a game. This was going to be between Voodoo and Turin, who hereafter shall probably be referred to as Turin because I don't really feel like saying that name that long, that many times. The map is Syrtis Major, and I picked up this game not because it's a particularly epic game, but just because some extremely interesting things happen in it. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into this thing. Turin is going to start with a land factor. He is the UEF faction. We've got a land factor with a couple of mexes queued up, and he is running over to the Hydro. Voodoo has built a land factory and a PGen first, is gathering up his mass extractors in a leisurely fashion with an engineer and his commander, and then going for the Hydro. He is probably going to get an air factory earlier. Yes, there it is. So he's got one PGen over here, Hydro, one more PGen, for a total of 140 power, which is what you would get out of the customary 7 PGens if you didn't have access to a Hydro. And then he's going air factory immediately. It looks like Turin Bar has gone for Hydro plus 3 PGens, probably because he plans to reclaim a little bit more heavily at the beginning of the game, maybe. And he's also diving into his additional land factories faster, and he is building more PGens in a haphazardly fashion after he gets that one down. So he's edge building those 2 land factories, which is by and large the fastest way to get some units up on this plateau. Looks like Voodoo is doing exactly the same thing, although slightly more delayed in his presentation compared to Turin. Now he is building air, but it does appear that that factory is paused, and it's because he was dipping a little too low. Minus 14 when he's drawing and plus 60 when he's not. But now that he's got a couple extra PGens, he is going to be just fine. Well, that and he's not, or he wasn't, constructing a land factory at that particular moment. Fun fact, building a land factory costs more power than that factory will actually use. So you can use your power storage to fluctuate a little bit. You can go into that slight power stall while you're building the factory, and then you'll be absolutely fine once you start building units. So it looks like he is going for a grand total of 5 land factories right off the bat. Turin has gone for 3, and it does not appear that he has any more queued on this side of the map. He is going over to this side with his ACU to block up the pass, and he is going to build some more factories over there. It does look like Voodoo has the stronger early air presence. However, he is a bit behind in eco. He's got 15 mass income. He has not claimed these 3 yet, which Turin has. And he's just being a little bit slower on the expansion. The problem with the whole early air game is that you're kind of guesstimating what your opponent is going to do in the first, I don't know, about 2.5 to 3 minutes of the game. That would be as soon as you could feasibly get a land scout across this map to get a little radar ping out where your opponent's air factory probably is and see if anything is coming out of it. So in that first couple of minutes, you've got to guess, is my opponent going to go first bomber? If he is, I've got to have something prepared to deny it. Do I want to go first interceptor to deny that, or do I even want to go first bomber myself? And of course, in this particular instance, neither one went first bomber, and Turin Bar, since he just totally forewent the, is that a word? Forewent? He totally forgoes the early air. He gets a little faster expansion out of it, and he is now up to 4 land factories on that side. There are a couple more tanks on this side for Voodoo. That's not going to matter much because that ACU is right there on the case. Voodoo diving in and killing off some of these mass extractors on this side. Turin was very, very optimistic about holding this piece of land, but he has lost that real estate to an ACU, and it shan't be recovered until there is a greater amount than 20 tanks here. Oh, unless Voodoo doesn't really feel like shedding any health. You can tell it's been a while since I've done a cast, because I am usually fairly precise in my wording, and I'm a little bit floaty today, but I hope you can bear with me, and maybe over the course of the next couple of weeks, because I do plan to do a few casts over the next few days. Hopefully I will get a little bit better at it. Till then, please bear with me. So we've got 4 factories and a 5th going up on the left-hand side as compared to 2, 3, 4, 5. Already a T2 power generator going down over there. That is rather quick indeed, although it does appear that Turin is getting one as well. He went T2 air, T2 land on this side, so we'll have to see how that works out for everybody. That is an interceptor building in there, only it is paused. So it looks like Turin is going to have a much stronger air game going forward than Voodoo is. He's got about, oh my goodness, 6 or 7 times as many interceptors. And he's got that T2 factory. On the other hand, Voodoo is going to be able to build flak, so he will be able to do area denial if the air situation gets too bad. So there's quite a few tanks over here. There are 6, 7 land factories just pumping out tanks headed over this direction, compared to, well, none for Voodoo. Voodoo just doesn't have much production, and that is a bit weird. Although I guess it does make sense if he's planning to build the, oh my goodness, he is straight up going for a T3 land factory. That is what it is. He is going for Loyalist Rush. I was about to say Harbinger Rush, but there is no Aeon here. So it'll be a little bit difficult to do that thing. There's already a couple of Janus's outs for Turin. He is going to take advantage of that massive area of effect and damage while his opponent is at a disadvantage on the air. The question is, where is he going to put them? Probably over here if he can get them back. There is already a Loyalist out on the field, and it is not even 10 minutes into the game. So that was a very, very quick T3 shift. Voodoo running nearly identical eco numbers to Turin Bar, and there it is. The napalm strike to end all, wiping out those poor little Mantis. Oh my goodness, what are we going to tell their families? Oh, that is so painful. It always hurts my very soul when I see Janus bombs connect, especially when it's on my troops, because it is just so devastating. Here comes some interceptors to try and kill off the Janus, as they're going to drop 2 of them, 3 of them. But then the vastly superior numbers of Turambar's forces are going to take over. And that is that total air win for Turambar. Well, the flak is still going to provide a fair bit of protection in most circumstances, but I'm also a little worried. No, I'm not. This is all T1, and he's got Loyalists at his back. Voodoo will be fine. The same may not be said of the base. That is a lot of devastation. Loyalist taking a bit of damage, but mostly those T1 units. They die in one pass, and it's so sad. So there's still T1 power generators being built here. I'm wondering why Voodoo is not taking advantage of his T2. Still in the fight over there, but he is doing fine on power, so we're not going to hate on him too hard. He has a much higher rank than I am and doing fine for himself. Although, that is a lot. That is 8 Januses immediately taking that ACU down to 2/3 health, coming around for another pass. We've got Flak moving up from the back, which is going to get caught up in the napalm and not quite die. Going to survive with 77 health, and it does have a vet, so it is going to, nope. It's not going to have any time to regen at all. Janus is immediately going to take that son of a gun out. Loyalist fending off the T1 units while Voodoo dodges for his life, dancing the dance of death with napalm surrounding him on every side, shrugging off most of the damage as the additional flak coming up from the back takes out the remaining bombers. So that is going to save his life at about 4,000 HP, regenning rapidly. But now we have a little bit of a problem for the red. There are 5 Loyalists coming up from the back, and there's not really anything to deal with it over here. There are more Loyalists coming in, but the flak is not with the Loyalists, so we're going to lose 1, 2, 3 to a combination of T1 Fire and Janus Napalm. The 3 flak coming up from the back. 3 is more than enough to drop bombers in one pass. Oh, that is a dangerous development. We've got a couple of tack launchers there. Gonna have to keep an eye on that to see what happens. Voodoo is on the move, so I don't think he has to worry about being sniped himself, but he has not built any. I take that back. He has a TMD, so I was incredibly incorrect. Sorry, so sorry. Napalm wiping out 3 of the flak, sacrificing, I think that is 5 Janus to kill 3 Flak, but there's 2 more, and then 2 following up from the rear, so these units are going to be quite safe. Voodoo is looking good at the moment. He's got no air, but he does have flak, which is kind of keeping the bombers under control, at least enough so that his T3 units can gain the upper hand over the T1. There is a Percival about to come out of the factory. Turin has made the T3 shift, but it might be too late. There are already about 10 loyalists up on the front. I do believe that is 9 exactly. There's more coming through the middle, and some even pushing the left side. Yeah, the one Percival is not going to be enough to stop that. A little bit worrying indeed for Turin Bar. Let's take a look at Voodoo. He has got 10,500 reclaim, does not have the tack launcher scouted. Otherwise, I think he would be building more defenses. And from everything he can see, life looks pretty dang good. Turin Bar reclaiming his unnecessary T1 land factories that are behind his fortified position. He is trying his best to fend off the loyalists. Voodoo is running around the outside, and we're comparing, 22,000 reclaim. Double the reclaim. And he also has more eco, although I don't think that's going to be very long-lived. Oh my, here comes the tack missiles. Going directly for the buzzkill. Why did that not kill it? It should have killed at least 1 missile. Maybe it killed 1, and the one that got through killed the TMD. However that happened, that is the end of the T3 HQ. He also tack missiled the wreckage so that it can't be reclaimed. Oh, that is super, super bad. But, oh my. That's enough loyalists. That is definitely enough loyalists to kill the ACU. So, in other words, if Turin does not do something drastic, he's going to die pinched in the middle. There's a stall there. Voodoo's not pushing, and a T2 transport. Oh, wow. There's going to be an airlift. There's flak right here. Look at this. Look at this range. If he had it on radar. Oh, so close. Voodoo has no air, though. You gotta shoot down the transport, man. That is, you gotta catch him. There's enough point defense here to kind of defend. Oh man. He is just skirting the flak range, heading all the way back with his commander. He's gonna drop it, slam back in the base, and now he's got 5, 6, 7 Percivals out. He's having a little bit of a pathfinding boondoggle here. Look at the... Oh, okay, that one went a bit more straight. I was about to say, they were not doing very well. T2 gunships coming in on the commander, trying to knock down that HP, but there are just so many interceptors from Turin Bar. He has just incredible air superiority. This is why air is important, guys. It prevents ACU snipes. However, that ACU is down to 5,300 health, and there are loyalists rapidly approaching. It kind of makes me sad to see them being slowed down by flak, though. Bit of bad micro on Voodoo's part, although I think he can be forgiven considering the fact that his base is rapidly disintegrating under tack missile fire. He still has a superior eco to Turin Bar, but he is going to bow out. Percival's knocking out the last couple of loyalists. Turin knocking one out with an overcharge there. A thought at the end of the game occurs. Had Voodoo taken his overwhelmingly superior land force at that particular point in the game and immediately knocked out this fire base, I think that Voodoo could have rebuilt faster than Turin Bar. And I think this game might have had a much different outcome. But as things stand, Voodoo was about even on power and roughly even on mass. However, no T3 HQ, no defenses as of yet to the tack missiles, which are still firing and would continue to take out his economy, no air superiority, and his UEF opponent has fielded Percivals, and in quite great numbers, actually. So that is just not a good outlook when you're Cybrid. You've got to push those Loyalists out, take over the field, which Voodoo did perfectly. Very excellent execution. And then just fell flat on his face when Turambar pulled out his commander and then was able to get back on his feet. Very, very cool little game. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's interesting for me to watch higher level players because you see very interesting things happen. Weird things that you don't usually see in lower rated games. Alrighty guys, I'm going to wrap that one up there. Short and sweet, to the point. Nice little warm-up getting back into casting. I will be back in a few days with another cast. I don't know exactly when because, as I said in the check-in video just a bit ago, life is a bit hectic at the moment. But I'll be doing what I can to get some subcom content out. Thank you so much to all you guys for watching. As always, I will see you in the next one.